Hello, everyone. My name is Danny. This review is for the movie called The Girl in the Spider's Web. Claire Foy stars in a new dragon tattoo story as Lisbeth Salander, the highly skilled vigilante from the acclaimed Millennium book series. Salander and journalist Mikhail Blomkvist find themselves caught in a web of spies, cybercriminals, and corrupt government officials as they race to rescue a dangerous program capable of global destruction held by shadowy figures linked to Lisbeth's past. This is a 2018 film, sort of 2019. I think it came around Christmas or January, somewhere around there, and it is rated R. It runs 115 minutes, and it stars Claire Foy, Sverre Gudnason, Lakeith Stanfield, Sylvia Hoeks, Stephen Merchant. The Girl in the Spider's Web. So, I've been a big fan of the other movies with this theme. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. There's two others. Not many people know about the third one, but there's two big ones, and then there's kind of a lesser known third one. This is technically the fourth, and I've been a big fan of them, and they've waited a long time to make this one, a couple years at least, and I do enjoy these kind of movies. I just don't really like the direction that they took with this one. I remember really falling in love with the original movie, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and I can't feel that same emotion with this one. So it is a little on the lesser side of being fun and action and all that stuff, but it's still a good quality movie and it's still known in this franchise. So I'll think fondly of it in the future. I'll start with that. I kind of went sporadic with my notes, so I'm just going to kind of say it as I have them written down here. Um, there's this boy involved in this movie, a young boy. He's really smart. His dad's really smart. The dad, I have never cared for. He is trying to be a comedian. He's in these funny movies. His humor falls flat with me, doesn't affect me. He has the one of the strangest personalities out there. I don't know how he's getting these good roles in good movies. I just don't care for him. So his son in this movie, he's a good actor for a child, and he's supposed to be kind of stranger way of thinking and stuff, and he's supposed to be affected emotionally by stuff that happens in this movie. And there's this one point after his father has been taken care of that the boy is smiling at this fast car, and he just like puts this huge grin on his face, and so they steal that car, and the him and the girl, the main character, and then on the car ride in this fast car, we see he's getting kind of emotional, obviously thinking fondly of his father, and it's just the weirdest scene, and it's just kind of the epicenter of this movie. Like there's cool times and then there's kind of weird times and there's weird moments. And that is like the moment that it just hit me like, wow, that is really weird. Like you're going to have him smile at a fast car and then be emotional. Like usually it's the reverse way around. So um Elizabeth's character, not Elizabeth, Lisbeth, her character is fine. Like I can buy her as the girl with the dragon tattoo. I can see her as that character. She's badass. She's smart, and but she's kind of gives off that vibe in the beginning. Like she just doesn't seem to be embracing her character. She just kind of seems to be the person she is, Claire Foy, walking around doing some things, and then it kind of kicks into gear, what's supposed to be happening. So, there's a lot of times where she doesn't talk, and it can be effective, but it just seems a little odd at times. And it's like, say something, do something. And so I think I'm saying that more often than not. So I think her quietness of her demeanor of the character can be a hindrance more than can be effective. And I just think they should have realized that after shooting this whole movie, that she's quiet almost too much. And then it's really heavy on, like, in prior movies, it's made obvious that Lisbeth has um, lesbian tendencies. And so that's fine that they recognize that in this movie, but I almost feel like that's like her persona is being this lesbian that is weak, that is vulnerable, and I don't like how they use that to make her look weak. Like in the earlier movies, I kind of felt like it was just a fact about her, but she was still this really heavy duty fighter that you don't want to mess with. And now this movie makes it seem like, oh, we can attack that aspect of her. I don't like how that switched gears from the original movies. Uh, and this obviously, does paint her out to be more feminine, more, butch, if you would say. And she is a really weak fighter. She gets put in headlocks. She gets put in very tough situations, and she has to rely on these people around her. And that used to never really be the situation either. Like, like why I think I liked the original movies was that she was her, main weapon. And in this movie, there really needs to be a team around her, and it almost like this movie was not going to be successful if you didn't have this person, this person, this person all doing their thing and going around certain corners and meeting at the end of the movie, So I think that's not good for your main character build up, and I think they could have, maybe cut out a little bit less of the side characters and given her more to do because her main things to do are the tech things and they're cool, but it just seems like she's not contributing that much all that time, and she's thinking ahead, but she's not really able to handle herself, and it kind of is a bad image of her. So it has a very obvious, predictable, you can see it from a mile away ending, and I'm okay with that because it has conclusion. But I'm not okay with it because these are supposed to be very original movies. They're supposed to be kind of edgy, something else that you haven't seen before. The beginning scene of this movie shows Lisbeth hanging this guy by his feet in his apartment, giving money to this woman his wife that he's been beating and stuff. And she gets him for blackmail and takes away all his money and threatens him, never to show his face really ever again. And then the rest of the movie is all about her past and revenge and all this personal stuff. And I think they kind of missed an opportunity here to make her just go crazy on a bunch of people. Just show her as this kind of hit woman doing these jobs, and we have a line at the end of the movie about how she is that, angel, getting revenge on men, but we only see one example of it at the beginning of the movie, and then it's this personal story. And I think we could have used, three, four more guys, maybe a montage or something of her just taking out people, sniping some people and sneaking into their work, their place that they live too, and taking care of them in a different way than she did this one guy. So I think they just missed an opportunity to really make her look really like a threat. And so, otherwise, what they did have in this movie was entertaining. It was smart. It was well done. There's lots of people involved. Everybody pulled their own weight. A lot of good-looking people. A lot of good spy-like qualities about them. Thinking about brushing something under a fence. Thinking about placing something in a certain area so that somebody will find it eventually. Just a lot of good qualities to this movie. I just kind of think they missed the boat on what would make it really awesome. So I think I mentioned more negatives than positives. So I'm going to give The Girl in the Spider's Web a C plus. I think it's in that B minus C plus range. There's just a lot of problems with it. I wanted to like it more. I just kind of didn't. So a C plus for this Girl in the Spider's Web. I do advise seeing it. I might buy it because I like all the rest of the movies. I'd like to keep it going, owning them. So yeah, I do advise watching it. C plus. Thanks a lot, guys. My name's Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. And as always, enjoy your movies. Thanks.